Hello everybody and welcome back to my home here in East Tennessee. And today I am repotting the oldest Phalenopsis that I have in my collection. This is Phal Marianne. She's the one that is the color of a cafe latte with a pink lip. And I've had her for 15 years. She is a very enormous Phalenopsis. I have already unpotted her, and as you see, this is her root system. I've got some bark that's stuck to some of these roots. Sometimes the roots just like to hang on to things. Here we've got some styrofoam, but it's not going to hurt anything to just leave them on there. I've actually damaged roots before. Trying to get that excess bark off of there won't hurt anything. It won't hurt the health of the plant whatsoever. So today I'm going to be repotting in this Better Grow Special Orchid Mix. This is what she's been growing in for about the past 7 years. And I've repotted it once before in this during that time, and it grows well in this orchid mix. It is fir bark, charcoal, and coarse perlite. That's what's in this mix. And she seems to really like it. So we're going to be repotting her today. I've already cleaned the roots, like I said. And what we're going to do is, here is my bark that I've been allowing to soak for the past 4 days. What this is soaking in is some reverse osmosis water with 25 drops per gallon of CalMag. I've let this soak in CalMag. I want her to go ahead and have calcium and magnesium as soon as possible after her repotting. It keeps the plant from suffering from any transplant shock, and that has worked for me in the past. So as you see, this is a coarse fir bark. This is actually pretty long lasting for it to be fir bark. What I just took off of it, it had been in, I guess it had been in the same fir bark for about 3 years. I really wouldn't recommend that, but I'm a little bit late on the repotting with this. So that's what happened. I'm not going to use like these long strips. I don't like that. I like the chunks. So here we go. I've placed some non-dissolvable packing peanuts in the bottom of this. Just so it doesn't set down in water in the bottom of the pot. So as you see, this root system is huge, and I'm just going to kind of very gently place her back down in here and fill in. I appreciate my daughter, my human tripod, helping me out. All these repotting videos that I do would not be possible without her, and I need to move this around to the other side of the table. Okay. And when it's wet, it is a little bit easier to handle. And it's important that you just keep tapping it down so that it finds all the little cracks and crevices. Several of you have asked me, how do you know when it's time to repot your Phalenopsis? Well, number one, if you smell anything that smells rotten, that's a really good indicator. It needs to have some new bark. And the other thing is what this plant was doing was she was lifting herself up out of the pot, above the pot level. And so you know, those roots need to be in some new bark, and perhaps in a new pot. I thought I was going to have to repot her in something larger, but it turns out that wasn't necessary this time. This is a large enough pot for a bow, I think, this size. If you pot them up in too much bark, there's always you run the risk of the bark just becoming rancid. And so you just want a pot big enough, certainly not too small, but too big isn't so good either. And this is actually going better with this bark than I thought it was going to be. So like I said, with the CalMag in the water, it really does help prevent transplant shock, I've noticed. I use CalMag every time I water my plants, and I've just seen such a huge difference in the way they grow, the way they bloom, the color of the bloom, the size of the bloom. Of course, it's important, you know, for you to balance that out with your Better Grow Orchid Plus, or, you know, whatever fertilizer you're using, unless you've already got calcium and magnesium in your fertilizer. But just make sure you have a calcium source in there. That's the important thing. Okay, I think that this is about done. That looks a lot better. And I'll keep an eye on it the next few days. If it needs to be filled in after I water it a few times, then I can do that. I'm just going to drain this and have it setting aside. I like to fill in as I need to for the next few weeks. If there's any gaps, I'll see them. And here she is in her new home. Man, she looks good. Can't wait until she blooms again. I've kept the spikes on there just in case she has some secondary spikes, which she always does. And that does it for this repot. I wanted to thank you all so very much. The video that I released the other day, so many of you sent condolences over my mom and over our very close friend and mentor and teacher, Howard, and we just appreciate you caring about our family. You all are my orchid family. I appreciate you all more than you know. Thanks again to my daughter for doing this video. I appreciate her so much. She puts her heart and soul into it, and I just love that. And I would love to say the blessing over you all before we end the video. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face toward you and grant to you and your loved ones his shalom peace. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.